It's Wednesday, November 21st, Thursday, November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day in the United States of America. If you're on the East Coast or across the pond, and this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you nightly on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. If you want to listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor. Just hit that old subscribe button. Our website, newly finished by the lovely and talented Amy Martin, is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot soon, shop at our brand new store, read up on the SOR Newswire put together by Captain Shirk, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Ensuho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. What's your message? Go to spacedoutradio.com, click on the Ensuho banner, and subscribe today. The third Wednesday of every month, we get ghostly with Ghosts of the Great White North. As MERLE is back, yes, Mike Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada joins us to talk about some great hauntings and stories north of the border. We have ghosts up here in Canada, too, you see. Lots of them, as a matter of fact. And at the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by Ross Allison from Spooked in Seattle, who was up here just a couple of months ago for the Caribou Paracon, investigating some pretty incredible places that are pretty untapped for ghostly energy. So tonight, we're going to get into residual hauntings. What exactly are they? It's all MERLE, all the time, all night long. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, Olaf Phillips from Paranoia Magazine joins us with another edition of the SOR Newswire. Mr. Mikey Morin, the man, the myth, the MERLE. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. You sound very pent up with the old MERLE.
Well, last time you were up, see what people we gotta let people know. Okay.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure here, because we don't want to catch them off guard. Mike came up a couple of weeks ago. And he came for an outdoors vacation weekend, and he's like, no more Mike. Got to call me MERLE now. I'm going to go by MERLE, my middle name. So that's what I'm calling him. We're going by MERLE. MERLE's his middle name. We're going to respect the request. There we go. MERLE.
MERLE's my outdoors hunting name.
Yeah.
That's what it is. My fishing name.
You got it. You got it. You can say whatever it is, my friend. But I got to tell you, we had a lot of fun. Little Marky Spender was with us, as known as Bazooka Joe, in the chat rooms. He was hanging out with us, and, we had a good day out in the wilderness. I know you're a hunter. I'm not a hunter. I'm more of a spotter. I was out looking for Bigfoot while you were, having the straight and narrow aim at the grouse that were out there, the wild chickens. So, glad you got some, man. Finally. Only took 13 shots. Only took 13 shots on one bird. It was beautiful.
And why did it only take 13 shots?
Hey,
no
I have my...
Let's tell the facts.
Okay, let's tell the facts. You're a terrible shot. Terrible.
Let's tell the facts.
I'll let you tell the facts. I don't need to spill the facts. You need the excuse. I don't.
When I was deer hunting, I knocked the scope on my 22, and then when I went up to Dave, I didn't recheck my 22 scope. So I looked like a hack trying to get a little gross. I unloaded a 10-round, up here we call them magazine. I think in the States they call them a clip. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then old Mark gave me his Browning 22, and that did the trick. But when I got...
Bazooka Joe's in the chat room right now. He just entered, and I'm just going to wait and see if he's actually going to confirm this. Yes, Joe's main, 13 shots.
Oh, it was the scope, dude. It was the scope. Hey, but that grouse waited. He was ready.
You know what was funny, and we got to say this, okay, because I don't, and I want to preface this. I'm not against hunting for food, okay? And I've talked about this a couple of times, not often because we don't get into hunting really on the show. All right. But I want to preface this. This isn't for game. This isn't for sport. This is actually for food that we were out hunting for. And grouse, the birds, are like wild chickens. They're everywhere up here. And so I want to preface for people who may have an issue with hunting that we were out for food. Nothing sporty about it. Let's just clarify that, because I don't want people getting in your face or my face, Mike, saying, "Oh my God, they were hunting, sport hunting." Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I'm not trying to make fun of people who don't like hunting. I'm not and Mike, you can even admit, because you're not. I know you very well. I mean, you work with animals on a daily basis. You're not into sport hunting, like going up to kill a grizzly bear just because it's a grizzly bear, or moose because of its antlers. You're not into that.
No, I'm not at all. I actually frown upon any of that stuff heavily.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is something, unfortunately in today's society, we do have to clarify that. But up here where I live, hunting for food is a big, big deal for a lot of people. And it's a way where they stock their freezers up, whether it's with grouse, whether it's with deer or moose. And like I said, I'm not a hunter. But I also see the point that some people want to experience hunting on themselves and having fresh food. So that's what it's all about. So anyways, I just want to clarify that for a lot of people, because there might be people out there who are going to ring us up now, 2 minutes for hunting.
That's a double minor to some people. But exactly. It's all good. Anyhow, on to the paranormal.
Merle, we're going to get to the paranormal here. We always have new listeners coming on in, and let's introduce you. You come on here the third Wednesday of every month to hang out with us on Ghosts of the Great White North, and we always have somebody to interview. But let's learn a little bit about you. You've had your own experiences since childhood, and that's kind of what got your interest in the paranormal. Why don't you explain?
Yeah, it did. I would say my first experience was probably around 10, 11 years old. I was homesick from school one day, and I saw a bearded man walk up my stairs, as real as you and me. And it didn't process, because I'm little at that time. And then I take another look, and he's still on the stairs looking at me. And then I'm like, oh, can't say that word on the radio. I don't know what's happening here. So I call my neighbor, an old lady, old senior citizen, blue hair. She comes over with her cane, and she basically cleared my house like the police with a little can of pepper spray. And there's nobody there. And then when I was young, after that happened, I started to be interested in ghost movies, ghost stories, reading ghost books, like age appropriate. I'm from the Goosebumps generation, if anyone knows that book. And then my parents used to ship me over to Winnipeg, Manitoba, which would be equivalent to Central Canada. It's prairies. And I stayed at my cousin's house. And he was an old, rundown, historic. It was basically like a frat house. I don't know why a 14-year-old would frat house. Anyhow, we went to the store one day. I'm like, hey, you didn't close your door. Or sorry, you didn't lock your door. He's like, don't worry, my friends look after the house. I'm like, your friends, eh? We're in the ghetto, and you didn't lock your door. My stuff's in there. I just smirked at me. He's like, don't worry, my friends. And when I was there, he never let me go down into the cellar basement. Picture an old, kind of like a plantation house, old colonial house, like that, looking like that. And that night, I heard footsteps, like steel-toe boots, coming up from the cellar, and the cellar door would slam open, and then I would hear these boots parading all over the kitchen, and then I would go downstairs, and then the door would slam shut. And it was happening over and over and over again. So me being 14, kind of have my head under the covers, the whole mentality of, if it can't see me, it won't know, or if I can't see it. But then curiosity killed the cat. I got up, I went into the kitchen, and then it was still happening in front of me, where I would see the door swing open, and you would feel the vibration of the boots on the kitchen floor. it happened all night. And then I went up to try and wake my cousin, wouldn't wake up. And that was what started everything for me. I need to know why. So from now on, it's about needing to know why. And that's really got me into it. Coincidentally, my cousin was here this past week, and I took him on a giant paranormal investigation where he kind of saw what I do. And I explained to him that it was his house, that got me into it.
Very interesting. You were recently on a paranormal expedition this weekend. I know you can't give out the location just yet, I don't think, but it was a major, major hotel in the lower mainland of British Columbia. What happened there? What'd you get?
All of our evidence, all 100 gigs of it, from about 4 cameras, 5 or 6 audio recorders, a bunch of other stuff. We're still processing the evidence, but this hotel, we'll just call it Planet Pink. And it's an over 400-room hotel. It was a luxury hotel resort convention center. Recently, it was closed, I think, in April of this year. They're renovating it. And there's been a lot of death in there. There's been suicide in there. There's been break-and-enters. There's been murder. The last while, they've had lower income, druggy-type people staying there. But then they finally just shut it down to get ready for the renovations. I did a tour with the hotel managers on the night of our investigation. Usually when our team does a walkthrough, it takes maybe half an hour, learning about all the hot spots, all the places where things have happened. But this walkthrough took almost 2 hours because they listened. It was awesome. About 2 weeks ago, I'm like, you talk to your security, you talk to your staff that are there, and you write down every little thing that's happened previous until the day we get there. Side note, sorry if you hear crunching, that's my cat deciding to eat right now. Anyhow, doing this walkthrough, there are at least 10 rooms where traumatic things have happened, from the basement to the banquet halls to the bridal suite.
Incredible.
And, yeah, it was. And coincidentally, audio guy Jeff, his brother, stayed in that bridal suite when he got married. The story goes in there. Yeah, the story goes in there. The bride died in the bathtub. So when I did my EVP session in there, I sat in the bathtub. Didn't realize it was wet until I got up. That's okay. And it was creepy because my cousin was, he had the camera on me, my cousin out from Winnipeg. I'm like, oh, you can, I gave him a crash course on how to use the camera. And he did well. And I told him, under any circumstances, don't talk when we're filming. Just let it happen. And I could see him getting excited, putting his hand up at me. And then after we were done filming, he's like, I kept seeing an orb stopping in front of you. And in this hotel, there's no bugs. It's all sealed off. I'm like, well, could it be dust? Perhaps. But he's like, it was so predominant when you're asking your questions, it was freaking him out to where he wanted to leave. Like he was in flight mode. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of locations like that. I mean, not just in Canada, but around the world where if you really get the opportunity, Mike, to get into some of these locations of very, very popular places at one point in time that has seen them kind of go down the unfortunate spiral that many businesses do over time. I mean, this is a big place. This is a hotel that really should be, if you look at the design, it should be along some sort of white sands beach or stuck up in the mountains somewhere with a great view of some mountain peaks, isn't it?
Totally is. It's Mexican themed. They want you to pretend. The idea of the original hotel was you go there, you're in Mexico. Like, right down to the doors are imported from Mexico. It looks like old castle, villa doors, all of them. All like that really old-fashioned wood. It was really neat. It's so big that we're going to probably investigate it about 5 or 6 times before we put something together. There's just too much going on there. Our mediums were, like, off the hook with everything.
I mean, that's got to be fun, though, Mike, to be able to have a building of that size. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of square feet here, 100,000 square feet. I mean, this place is massive.
Oh, yeah, it's easily over 400 rooms. There's, I think, 3 or 4 banquet halls. There was a nightclub in there where a guy was shot dead. Yeah, it's really sketchy. There were rooms there where drugs were run through, drugs and ammunition through the clientele that were inhabiting there. There's a room where, if you've watched the Mayans show on TV, where they go rent rooms in the casino and have chats with people, there's a room like that in there where allegedly stuff like that has happened. It's got some pretty crazy past we're trying to uncover.
What are you looking for in a place like that?
In a place like that, we're looking for answers. We want to know who's there, what's there, how many are there, why are you there, why do you bug the staff? Because their security team, they're ready to quit. Apparently it's that bad. So our goal is to figure out what's there and why it's there, and hopefully get some resolution for the staff that's there, and maybe move on things that need or want to move on.
Do you think with the negative energy of the drug running, the ammunition running, the murders that were there, the suicides, is it a negative feeling in there? Is it a somber feeling in that building? Or does it feel like any antiquated museum would?
That's a good question. Depends on where you go in there. When you walk in, you just feel watched. You feel like the hotel is still active. You feel like there's people still in there. But the best way to describe it, like when you're walking in the kitchen or the old bar there, you know in The Shining, when he walks into the kitchen, it's all huge stainless steel and vacant, and just that is what you get there. We did have we were allowed to sleep there the night if we wanted to. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I had to work the next day. But next time we may sleep over the next night and do an entire night. And we did different investigative techniques this time, actually, because it's such a large hotel. We kind of did a paranormal no-no, was what we kind of... We investigated alone. Jay took a room, Blair took a room, I took a room, Derek took a room, and we just did our thing to try and cover some ground. And we rotated every 20 to 40 minutes, depending on what we were getting. Derek had a couple people come out and help us out with cameras, and it was actually pretty good. No way you can do a place like that in one night. Even our mediums did their walkthroughs, and it took forever, when usually it takes maybe 5 to 15 minutes, trying to find locations on where we should investigate. Like one of the rooms, coincidentally, myself, because I'm a bit sensitive, and Derek and Blair all honed in on room 222. And we weren't together when we did that. And I'm like, you have to open this door. I said to the manager, I'm like, it's going to be disgustingly cold in there. And she did. And it was disgustingly cold in there. And then I left an audio recorder, and then I'm like, I'm hoping we catch something. I think we expelled all of our audio recorders, batteries, all the hot spots. We left all of our recorders running. And then I think next time we're going to lay some static cameras everywhere. It's. I can't wait to go back. If you could come down here, you should come with us.
Well, I will definitely make a trip down for that. I will definitely make a trip down. That is something that just absolutely intrigues me. I don't care if there's a wall of snow on the highway. I'll take the jet down.
Take the jet down. Call the chopper.
Well, the airport up here in Williams Lake flies right into Vancouver, and I can get you to pick me up there. But, yeah, I mean, this place is massive. I mean, 400 rooms. I mean, that's almost the size of a Vegas hotel.
Oh, easily the size of a Vegas hotel. They're kind of going for that, too, like the luxury, right? And some of the stories they have is hearing screaming from a few of the rooms. 337, to be exact, was one of them. It's really bad mold in there. There's a nice photo of me on our Instagram account with one of those white masks on. And all along the third floor east wing, you'll see lights turning on and off in like every second room. Windows being open and closed, because they have about a handful of security guards that do frequent patrols. Because where the hotel isn't paradise. There's a lot of people around there that aren't good intent, and so lights would turn on, doors would open and close. They'd hear screaming. That's been a new one. They said they hear screaming from a couple of the rooms, and they hear voices, and the list is so long of what's happening there. This is probably one of the more active places we've been as a team.
Yeah, I want to get down there. Now I'm a little jealous. In a place like that, I mean, you could understand why they're going to be renovating in April. So there is a real time limit to get as much investigation and information there as possible, because when they reopen, you're not getting back in.
Oh God, no, 100% we wouldn't get back in there. We're just documenting right now. Like the first night our plan was to get in there, do a quick walkthrough, do a quick interviews and tour with management, but no, that was basically night one, was all of that with a little bit of investigating, and that sometimes happens. But we're being really thorough with this one, and the staff's great. They just open the floodgates with sharing knowledge with us and all that stuff.
Very cool. Mike, we only got about 30 seconds here before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour here, but it's intriguing, and I love hearing stories about this type of stuff. I really do, because I think it's important for the investigation when you can have something that instantaneous. A lot of times you go to these haunted locations and you're scrounging for one piece of evidence. It sure doesn't sound like it was like that here.
Oh, God knows. What room do you want to go in to get what type of evidence? So it's going to be a big plan of action next time. We know what rooms we wrote down, and we wrote down all of the rooms that are active. There's different rooms that our mediums thought would be active. Right. And I want to sleep there. I want to sleep in the grossest, horrible
Definitely.
room.
I got to cut you off right there, Merle. As MERLE Morin is with us, Ghosts of Great White North happens the third Wednesday of every month. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. Ghost of the Great White North happens the third Wednesday of every month as we are joined by Haunted Crew of Canada's Mike MERLE Morin. Merle, how you doing, buddy?
Merle's doing great. Merle's just kind of sitting here talking to you about ghosts and stuff. It's a good night.
Hey, I don't know if I told you this, but I had a little incident in my house a couple nights ago.
Do tell. Do tell.
Well, you've stayed at SOR headquarters a number of times when you've come up here for a lot of ghost hunting and just some recreation time. And there's some strange things happening at SOR HQ. So the other night, I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning, and my hall light was on. And I saw the shadow of an adult figure walking down the hallway from my doorway down towards the kitchen area. And then immediately the light went off. And I thought it was Mrs. SOR until I realized that she was lying beside me in bed. And today Mrs. SOR talked to middle SOR, the middle daughter, and said, "Did you get up in the middle of the night the other night?" And she's like, "No." So, kind of had a wanderer around my house in the hallways the other night.
What do you think it was, and where do you think it came from?
I don't know. I mean, there's been so much that has happened here. I mean, you know that. We've pseudo-investigated SOR headquarters here. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens around here.
I agree. I think we need to do an old-fashioned EVP session at your place like the old days. We actually haven't done that. We did it once, but that's footage we won't use or anything. But we should actually do a proper.
You know what? Your team can come to SOR headquarters and do that. You can do that, and I don't want to be a part of it. I'll just kind of stand on the sidelines because I don't think it's right for me to get involved in a paranormal investigation in my own house. But I would let you do the yard, too, because you know darn well the yard is haunted.
Love a good yard investigation. That would be good. I think it's your area. It's old, the old-fashioned area. Wasn't that all cattle ranch back then? All around there?
No, it was all forest. It was all forest until it was my area, until it was developed.
Fair enough. Hey, Gail has a question in the chat room for me that I'll read and then answer.
All right, go ahead, Merle. Hold on. Gail did not refer to you as Merle in the question, so we're going to have to penalize Gail for that.
Can you ask me the question and then just Merle it?
Okay, I'll do that. I will do that. Merle, you cannot hurt a ghost, but they can hurt you. Why do you keep putting yourself in harm's way, Merle?
Merle keeps chasing the dragon. No, I'm kidding. I don't think I'm putting myself in harm's way because I go in with a clear head, protection, and I know that I'm okay. If I felt like something was going to go wrong or I feel off or anything like that, I wouldn't do it, or I would go with somebody to oversee me or help me. I'm never disrespectful. I never take a gamble. If I'm going to go investigate a more darker area, I go in with the mentality of, I'm here out of respect. I'm here just to talk to you, but if you don't want me here, let me know. Don't harm me. Just let me know, and I'll peace out. So I've never, well, no, have I been harmed? Kind of, but I've never been, okay, I have had attachments. Damn it, Gail, I have been harmed, okay? No, I'm just joking. I don't know, I like the evidence. I need to know why. It comes back to my first encounters with the paranormal. Just like when I said, curiosity kills the cat. When I went physically into that kitchen and watched the door swinging open and closed. I need to know why. But now I have the tools, and I'm on a great team where we work together and protect each other to ensure none of us get harmed doing these investigations. But I will do things other people will shy away from because that's why I'm in it.
That's because you're Merle.
Can't hurt Merle. That's a strong name.
13-shot Merle. 13, Merle 13, we're going to call you. Merle 13. Your new call sign.
I'm quiet because I'm biting my tongue.
Yeah. Mike in the chat room says, where did he put it here? He goes, I visited Dave's this afternoon with a Timmy's ice cap. He told me this story and I got chills. And he said he's witnessed shadow figures on several occasions at my house.
Interesting. I've never experienced shadow figures at your house. I don't know. Your downstairs seems cool, but you know where your piano is in your house? Kind of that room.
Yeah.
I think there's something.
No, it's the elegance of the room, right?
Piano ups the elegance game every time.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a former resident. I don't know, because my house is like 43, 44 years old. So I don't know if it's, a wanderer coming through or if it's somebody who's here all the time. Or I know we got the guy in the yard, but he told me he doesn't come in the house and haven't really felt him in the house. So I don't know. Mike, I want to ask you something, though. I want to talk about residual energy until we get to the top of the hour here. When you had to leave early on the Sunday of the Caribou Paracon, and we were able, little Ronnie Moniak, the Ukrainian watermelon, myself, and a few others got together to take a small group on a paranormal tour in the rain and snow, mostly snow, on the Spruce Hill Resort and Spa grounds, which is the original Gold Rush Trail. And one of the first spirits we encountered were a husband and wife. They claimed to be of Chinese descent, which makes sense for the area. And they had a horse and buggy with them, which makes sense for the area as well in the peak amount of time. Now, in my thinking, and this is just my observations, not anybody else's, are they living that day to day? Because that would mean to me, if in the simplest form, the way I can try and explain it, is that they are on a continuous looping of their timeline. Or would it be residual energy?
My opinion, it's residual energy. I actually queued up my definition of a residual haunting from experience, talking to other investigators along the way. So the story you tell about the Chinese people with their cart and horses going up to Barkerville, I think it's replaying, which would be defined as a residual haunting. So I'm going to read you the definition because I have it queued up for you, Dave. So a residual haunting is, it's most common, in my opinion, the most common type of haunting out there. The spirit is replaying a certain action over and over and are actually unaware of humans around them. So basically it's imprinted energy from that location. Typically a result of a traumatic event, examples being footsteps, a scream, being in a window every day and night at the same time, or even, you could even use examples like Gettysburg or World War I and II battlefields, soldiers being seen walking in formation in the old battlefields or hearing the old shells. It's the same thing. There was a lot of death going up and down to Barkerville. There were a lot of wagons falling, because you got to remember back in those days there were deep ditches because they were building and repairing the roads because of the winter and all that. It's not like how it is today. And people would fall off, people would be sick. There was a lot of flu, a lot of other sicknesses that they didn't have vaccines for back then, and people would perish. Going from 108 Mile Ranch all the way to Barkerville would be the end stretch essentially, and it's the most horrible road. Even driving the roads in our vehicles today, there's one straightaway right after your house, but other than that, it's all zigzag, and it's not a nice road. So seeing those people, it's probably something happened to them around there. They probably did not make it. So they're trying to make it over and over and over again. And that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I mean, I understand that, okay? I do understand that. And I guess the way I look at it, because I've talked to a lot of people on this show about different dimensions, different timelines. Are we under one continuous loop, or are there thousands of these loops going on at the same time? And this is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if instead of it being what we call a residual energy, if it's actually that timeline replaying itself, much like a replay of Seinfeld or Gilligan's Island.
It very well could be. Maybe they are actually going to Barkerville at that time, and they don't realize it's present day. Maybe they fell off the mountain going up, but maybe they're programmed to, they're still trying to make it up that way, but then at a certain period it resets. So they're back at where they fell off the mountain like nothing happened, and then they keep going at a certain time of the month. Maybe that weekend of your Paracon was when they died. And so coincidentally you guys are investigating there, and then you happen to see that, unless they've been seen before. But that's another thing that could be coming into play right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. It could be that. But I'm more thinking of like dimensions. We hear about all these dimensions, and I realize you're not very schooled in it, and I'm not going to, try and embarrass you or anything like that, because your marksmanship will do that enough. But nonetheless, that would, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh here. But nonetheless...
You've censored me. I can't say what I want to say. Keep going.
Nonetheless, I'm wondering if there are, congruent timelines with this. And instead of the energy, to put it in relative English terms, being burnt into that area, into the ground, into the trees, into the fauna and flora that's around.
That's the sense we're saying the same thing, just in different things. It could be. It could be the energy imprinted from that, but that's what a residual haunting is, the energy imprinted from a traumatic event. Replaying.
So with that, do you think those people, not to laugh at them, but those ghosts, do you think they ever make it to Barkerville?
That would have to be an EVP session y'all do with your audio recorders up there and ask them. Maybe you'll get an answer. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they perished on that road going up there, or around where you keep seeing them. That was the last spot they remember.
Well, when you're back up here next, I definitely want to take you there, because, that's a location we could do day or night. Night's probably a little bit more quiet, but, it's about to get cold here, so I'm thinking daytime might be a little bit better to do that. But I think, though, Merle, that as we do that, it really shows, especially along that trail, that anywhere at any time you can catch some sort of paranormal activity.
You could try in the daytime. I've done EVP sessions in the daytime in graveyards or in areas that are really sketchy when I've been alone. And yeah, I've pulled some good evidence out of doing that. Any time of day is a good time of day. I don't think ghosts are nocturnal. I think. The reason a lot of us investigate at night, because we get more evidence with night vision cameras at night because of the light spectrum. Daytime, I think you could get as good of evidence as you could at nighttime. So doing your investigation or pulling over on the highway and doing a quick EVP session may pay off for you.
Well, you know what? You're the expert at this. I am so not. But nonetheless, it was very interesting in order to find that. So with that residual energy, how do you clear it? How do you cleanse it? Is it even possible if it's so etched into the timeline?
If you can communicate with them, maybe. But a lot of times, no. I think that it's just a replay, like a VH, like a loop recording, so to speak. Their energy's there, but not so much them. And that's where it comes back to the traumatic event. Like my uncle used to do long-haul truck driving. This is why I brought up Gettysburg when I was reading it. He would go from Nova Scotia, Canada, all the way down to Florida, routine every week. And he would always go to a truck stop at Gettysburg. And one night he was there, and he saw a full-blown Confederate soldier, looked like he had a gun wound in his leg, walking. He thought that it was a reenactment because that's what they do down there now. And the Confederate soldier looked at him. He was gray. And then my uncle's like, oh, God, he's kind of see-through. And then he walked through the bathroom door and gone. Residual haunting. And he talked to the other truckers around there, and that was frequent. You would see that Confederate soldier like clockwork. So could you talk to him maybe? Or could that Confederate soldier just be going back to his battle battalion back in the day? That's what he could be thinking.
Mr. A-Hole Skeptic on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio makes a fantastic comment, Merle. He says, well, this clears up some misunderstanding. I always thought that residual haunting was when a ghost got a paycheck for a previous haunting that had gone into syndication.
You know what? I thought that too for a while. That's good. Good answer.
That is awesome. Awesome. He gets some good ones. His brilliancy for the snark is amazing. We absolutely love him here. And
classic
now he's rolling it. Classic snark. We appreciate it. Go to #SpacedOutRadio on Twitter if you want to join the Snark Fest. We could use some. Could always use some. We only got about 3 minutes here, Mike, before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. But with the residual haunting, if you cannot get rid of it, if it is implanted on the ground, how do these, or do we know how these spirits could ever really find peace if it's not just a Memorex style of recording that is taped into the ground?
Well, maybe they have found peace. Maybe it's just their energy imprinted there. And they've moved on, they're gone. But it's just whatever event happened or did not happen. Like, say, you put so much energy, hope, wanting to go get that gold because you're poor in East Vancouver and you're going to go up to the Gold Rush Trail and you're going to become Mr. Millionaire. And you put so much time, energy, and all of that into going up. And you're walking up there with your horses, with your little buggy, and then you fall down a mountain cliff because your horses spook, or you get robbed and shot. Quite frequent back in the day, cowboy days. And all of your energy's just gone kaput. So now you're dead. You maybe would haunt the location where that happened, unless you really want to cross over. Or you have unfinished business, which it would be another residual haunting. You don't know that you're dead, so to speak. It's residual haunting is a good one to look into and actually study.
Is it understudied in the field?
I think so. People like to chase the scary stuff. Residual hauntings are boring because you usually don't get much action from them. That's coming from an investigator. But it's something to look into more, I would say. Like talking about this with you now, it's kind of perked my ears on, again, my classic why. Why does that happen? So that might be something I might look into now. Or like when you're in hotels, and there's a haunting of the girl in the white dress walking up and down the hallway. Could that be a residual, or is it a haunting? Right?
I mean, it's not like the Banff Hotel where the bus boy or the luggage boy. What do you call those gentlemen? Who is still actively taking people up to their rooms with their luggage, and then they go to tip him, and he's disappeared.
Bellhop. I heard that.
The bellhop. Yeah. Apparently that has happened numerous times at the Banff Hotel. They were neither confirm nor deny it, but people have said that it has happened frequently there. Frequently.
Banff Hotel's on my bucket list for 2019.
Yeah, too bad they don't allow paranormal investigation there.
Undercover, plainclothes paranormal investigating. No matching t-shirts.
I understand that, but it really is. I'm not going to say it's a Canadian attitude, but I think it's an attitude in general. This, we'll scare people off. What will people think? People won't come here because of it. They refuse to think of how much more business admitting that the place is haunted would actually bring. Because everybody already knows. I mean, Banff Hotel is like Area 51, man, where everybody knows it's haunted, but nobody talks about it being haunted.
Yeah, no, you are very correct with that, Dave. It's like the unnamed hotel we've been investigating down here. They're worried about that. But I'm like, hey. And then I spun it kind of how we talk about it. And they're like, oh, we could do that? I'm like, why couldn't you do that? Like, room 123 is haunted. Here's our haunted rate. Here's some gear you can rent.
Exactly.
So, for the hotel, big picture, man.
Have some fun with it. MERLE Morin is here every third Wednesday of the month for Ghosts of the Great White North. Coming up after the break, we're going to be joined by Spooked in Seattle's Ross Allison. We'll be back with more SOR after this. Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot THAL. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Morin. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. Tomorrow night on the show, Andrea Message joins us to talk all things paranormal. It's going to be a fun night. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hello to everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. Don't forget, you can check our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. They are free for your entertainment. Do me a favor, though, hit that subscribe button. Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. A lot of weird letters in this one put together. Posilonym. Holy cow, I think I got it. Posilonym is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as Bill sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website has a brand new look to it, so make sure you check it out at spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you. You could rock out to Bumblefoot. Soon, shop at our brand new Spaced Out Radio store. Read up on the SOR Newswire put together by Captain Shirk, and so much more. The third Wednesday of every month, we have Mike Morin on from Haunted Crew of Canada for Ghosts of the Great White North. And tonight, we're getting a little bit of an American flavor as well, as the owner, curator, and paranormal extraordinaire, Ross Allison from Spooked in Seattle, joins us as well. Also owner of the Death Museum down there. Definitely a tour you are going to want to take if you're visiting the Emerald City. Ross, welcome to the show, man. Good to have you back.
Oh, it's awesome to be back. Thank you.
And you're actually, I don't know if you even know this yet or not, but you'll be back on with David Weatherly on December 13th, and I'm not going to give it away, but you guys got a brand new book coming out together that you're going to be talking about in your Haunted series.
Yes. He just informed me. So we are going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff that's featured in that book.
Absolutely. And Ross, I want to say I got to meet you a couple of months ago at the Caribou Paracon up here in British Columbia. And I got to say, man, what an absolute pleasure to be able to chat with you and spend as much time as we did with you. And the way you and David were, really bonding with everybody up here was just absolutely phenomenal, and you're just an absolute class act. It's not often that I get, being way up here, that I get to meet people who have been on this show before, but it really was a pleasure that was all mine to be able to put a name to the face and voice and to shake your hand, because you are seriously one of the classiest people I have ever met in this field. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting everybody out there. It was great company, and look forward to coming back and even coming out and doing some special little adventures with you guys.
Absolutely. What did you think? Now, wasn't this your first time investigating in Canada?
Well, not my first time investigating in Canada. I've been up to Vancouver and Victoria a couple times, but definitely my first time being that far north. And I'd have to say, it was such an amazing adventure that you gave us, me and David, when we came up for your event, taking us to Barkerville and the museum. And oh my God, it was phenomenal. And again, I can't thank you enough for making that trip so amazing.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. And for a lot of people, I'll remind you, especially because we always have new listeners coming in and out, Ross, we brought you guys up actually a day earlier. And that way we traveled further north from where I am to Quesnel, British Columbia, where Mandy the Haunted Doll is sitting in a museum. And then we went even further north a couple hours later to Barkerville, which is obviously a haunted ghost town. When you got to see that part of British Columbia and saw how historic and old everything is, from Mandy the Haunted Doll and everything in the Quesnel Museum to Barkerville, what was going through your mind? Because you've investigated all over the United States. A lot of the places that you've investigated are already known to be haunted. And but to go into a brand new area the way you did, where you had no expectations, you had no understanding of what it was like, what went through your brain as you were trying to process everything and trying to grasp what was going on?
Well, whenever you get these opportunities to check out new locations, especially locations that you haven't really heard of, there's a lot of excitement, new blood out there to explore and hear the stories that people have had. So for me, it was pure excitement. And I was just, it was jaw-dropping just to see how big, especially Barkerville was. This little area that's been kept for such a long time, and this little, you really feel like you're going back in time, like you're in the Old West, checking out all these, old buildings. And so, for me, it was phenomenal. Again, it's something that it was so worth, that adventure that I want to go back, and definitely hang out with you guys, and now to, be more prepared with, my team and some of our equipment and see what we can actually find.
Mike, how was it for you? Let me ask you this. I mean, you had never met David or Ross before, and you're pretty much used to investigating with Canadian people. How different was it to investigate with these guys, knowing that this is what they do for a living? They don't have, like you or I, the daytime jobs. This is their life. It is surrounded by the paranormal. How much different was that as investigation technique goes?
I actually really enjoyed it. When I took Dave and Ross out, not the fundraiser night, but the second night where it was kind of just a closed investigation, I was kind of wondering, going in, I'm like, how different will they be from technique-wise? But we talked about it right before we left the post house. We were basically all on the same page, which was, for our group, kind of cool to hear that from them, and kind of our investigative techniques and styles, question asking. And I learned a lot. It was good conversations, especially learning about all the different gear they use compared to our gear and all that. I enjoyed it.
Well, one thing I do want to point out, with ghost hunting, it's all trial and error. So to have these opportunities to meet other people in the field and see what they're doing, what works for them, just helps us to advance further. So it's nice to hear and see what these other groups are doing and to share our knowledge. And hopefully, we'll find that we're all on the right track and can actually, advance further with this. And, and of course, I'm hoping that when I meet these groups, I can offer them some more information to help get them further along. Because, as I've always said, the problem we have in this field is there's no standards in this field. So everybody kind of does their own thing. So when we do have these opportunities, like, your conference that you did, and then to meet these other groups and communicate and share, we can actually start to build that standard. And so when groups, like, all of our groups come together and start sharing, evidence that we possibly have gotten, we're not always going to be second-guessing each other, because we'll say, oh, I know this group, I've worked with this group, I know how they operate, and so I want to trust now when they submit evidence that it most likely is very well evidence.
Couple quick comments for you, Ross, in the chat room. Bill Hauser, who is up here for Paracon with the Ghost Box, he says hello, and it was a pleasure meeting you as well. Of course, it's a Canadian way. We got to do this. And you remember Mark and Tara, who helped out on the ghost tour on the Friday night. Mark makes a comment in the chat room that Tara absolutely loved yours and David's books that they bought.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So investigating an area like up here, Ross, where it is so untapped and really unknown to the paranormal world, how often does that come along these days with the popularity of the paranormal?
Well, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but, here in Washington, you have to understand, when I started my group, and we're the oldest group in the Northwest when it comes to, in America, We basically, started, back in 2000. There weren't any groups. In fact, when we started out, we were 1 out of 100 groups nationally in America. 1 out of 100. Now each state can easily have 100 groups plus. So that's a lot of territory that these groups are, hitting up and constantly, investigating. So to find new blood in America, it gets a little more challenging because unless they're in these rural areas where a lot of groups can't get to, you don't always have these opportunities. So, I don't know what it's like in Canada, how, saturated you guys are with ghost hunters, but to have these opportunities or to find these places that, like you took us to, it's exciting. I can tell you that. It's always nice to hear new stories and see new locations.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I was going to get at in regards to the freshness of it. How refreshing was that as a ghost hunter to know that, you maybe have had 2, maybe 3, 4 teams in a location, not hundreds like other locations.
Right. No, it's amazing. It really is. Because, you find that a lot of times these teams aren't always doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they don't have a certain protocol that they should follow, or even ethics, or, I guess morale when they do these investigations. In fact, a lot of these groups that are imitating what they see on TV actually ruin it for us who have been out there a lot longer and try to hold ourselves up in a very professional way. These groups go in and, unfortunately, not only do they piss off the spirits, but they piss off the owners of the property, and they're like, no more. We don't want, any more ghost hunting groups coming out here. And so it's nice that, I should say, unfortunately, those groups, ruin it for us to get into some of these places. So it is nice to find some new locations that unfortunately haven't been tainted, by, unfortunately, these, bad groups, and to, get our hands wet again in some amazing, in some of these amazing locations.
Mike, I accidentally cut you off on a question earlier for Ross. You go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask him, Barkerville, have you done Tombstone or Deadwood before?
I have done both of those places, and you have to understand that again, this is a prime example. These places have been overwhelmed with ghost hunting groups, and the problem you find that with a lot of these groups not understanding their credibility or even their background when they go and investigate. A lot of these groups will go into these places and they keep adding more and more stories to these locations. So you not knowing their credibility, especially when they bring in psychics or, sensitives and mediums and stuff like that, whether they're legit or not, they add more stories to these locations. So when you go into places that are very popular like Tombstone, you're going to hear thousands and thousands of stories and different versions or different claims of who could be haunting these locations. And so you never know what stories are legit and which ones aren't, because you get overloaded with all this information. So, going back to, the locations that you guys have, it's nice to have just still a handful of experiences to work with, and then be able to, simplify things and go to the root of the phenomena. So it does make the process a lot easier when you go into newer territory.
Barkerville to Tombstone, like that type of town, would you compare them as the same style or same type of towns?
Well, again, I've only been to Barkerville once, thanks to Dave, but I'd have to say it's too soon to compare. There's definitely a lot of history there. I like the fact that when you go to Barkerville, you almost feel like you have the town to yourself. Tombstone, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Tombstone, but Tombstone is still a very active town. So you basically are going into places where they're still being operated as a business day to day. There are people still living in the houses. So, that alone, when you compare it to Barkerville, it's one of those, more unique experiences where you can isolate and have more of a controlled environment when you go to investigate a place like Barkerville, where it literally does shut down for the night and you have it to yourself.
Now, you investigated up here in the 108 Mile Ranch, Ross, the museum where I talk about the tour, and just to make it familiar with our audience. And you've investigated all over the United States. And I know this is going to sound like a real stupid question, but I'm going to put it out there anyways under the assumption that no question is stupid. Is there a difference between spirits, say, in the United States and spirits up here in Canada, from what you noticed? I know it's a silly question, but I'm just curious.
I would have to say no. I think, when it comes to different, countries, different cultures, there's always going to be, different beliefs. But I think there really is not that much of a change when it comes to the basic belief when it comes to ghosts alone, when it's compared to America and Canada. So there is still a lot of those similarities. So that definitely makes it a lot easier when transitioning from one country to the next. If you go to, other places, like, Asian countries where, ghosts are, the taboo, you don't, mess around with them. You don't even ghost hunt over there. Because, something, any type of communication with ghosts is obviously going to cause a lot of bad luck, bad juju. So it's actually, that's, a nice thing that we have that common belief when it comes to, the paranormal. There's not a huge gap in our basics in ghost hunting.
Mike?
No,
Holy cow! Did you fall
you lose him there?
I don't know.
I did.
I think old Merle dropped his computer there, or his coffee near his computer, or something.
I will not confirm or deny what happened, but I did just move. I tried to be subtle with my move, but clearly I was an elephant.
Merle, you were more than an elephant. You were a herd of elephants there.
Classic Merle was at it again.
The good news is the wild chickens wouldn't have moved.
No, this is true. This is true. Anyhow, between ghosts from Canada and U.S., I don't know. Do you think they know borders when they're ghosts, or do you think they haunt differently between countries? I don't think so, but I think it comes down to the saturation of the investigations. Like Ross was saying, a lot of the places in the States are hammered with ghost hunting teams. So I think all of the energy from all these people coming in and provoking, not provoking, trying to clear things, trying to be Madame Cleo, trying to do all that sort of stuff, versus up here where we don't have, I would say the Lower Mainland, I can count on one hand how many predominant teams there would be that I know of, versus if you go, I know just over the border in Bellingham area, you can count probably quadruple that. So I think it comes down to maybe the ghosts are just tired and don't want to talk to us anymore. And there's too much, like you said about Tombstone, there's thousands of stories being fabricated where, so they say that John Henry died in 1872. But John Henry didn't live in Tombstone, so why are you talking to him? But again, it sounds cool the way, quote-unquote, John Henry died, right? So I think it comes down to, that stuff.
Yeah, I think you could be right. Ross, I am curious, though. as we got about 3 minutes here before we got to go to break. We've talked lot on this show over the last year about the guy in the barn, in the upstairs, that, you know, the amazing photo of the guy on the stairways that we got last year. There's a lot of people who have questions about him. What was your thoughts?
You know, I'd have to put more time into the investigation. I know when we got our opportunity to investigate that place, we were still a little rushed. But I do have to say, and I will validate, and I believe there is even video of this, when you took us up to that walkway up there, and we were taking pictures, and then we decided, you know, we're going to head back. And as we're heading back, you tell me to turn around and take a picture. And right when I took that picture, in the flash, I saw the silhouette of a man standing there. And I screamed.
You went up an octave.
Yeah, you did.
It was good. Really good.
It was great Pavarotti. It was great Pavarotti.
It was a very shocking experience, you know, because, you know, here you are telling me to take the picture now, and I take the picture now, and there, you know, he was just like right in your face. I believe you. There is somebody up there.
Didn't you say it was rushing you? Like you felt a rushing sensation when you took the photo?
Well, yeah, it was like right up, just came right up to my face, right when I took that picture. And it was just all within that flash, when the flash went off.
We kind of have the video of that, but it's more the audio that's the great part of that, which we could clip and send to you as well for a souvenir.
Ross getting scared out of his socks in Canada. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I was actually surprised that he allowed us up there. I was really surprised. Because normally, like even with the tour that afterwards, when we and we're finished our tour season now, but we had 3 other tours to do, and it was great that he, you know, we went back to the ways of not allowing people up there or taking photographs, but it was fantastic because he was allowing people up there. He seemed a lot more friendly. He seemed, you know, the energy wasn't as tense anymore.
Well, I know they were actually, what were they? They were doing a wedding up there, right? Is that pretty common?
Yeah, there was a wedding there the next day, so maybe he was getting ready to get his spirit on. Ross, I'm going to get you to hold on. Merle, you hold on as well. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. It goes to the Great White North with MERLE Morin. Happens 3rd Wednesday of every month. We'll be back with more Paranormal Talk right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the 2nd Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment. including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the midway point of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight I am your host, Dave Scott, Ghost of the Great White North, tonight with MERLE Morin, and we're joined by Spookes in Seattle's Ross Allison. Gentlemen, good to have you with us here tonight.
It's good to be back.
I'm happy to be here looking around.
Absolutely. You never know what's lurking around the paranormal field, my friend. You never know what's lurking or slithering around. I mean, and, you know, when we had that, and right before the break, Ross, we were talking about the dude on the stairs in the Clydesdale barn up here in my museum that we've talked so much about on this show. You know, when you got rushed there by it, did you see him as well? And if so, what did you see?
I just saw, like, right when the flash went off, I saw the outline of a figure. You know, I could see head and shoulders. That's all I could see. It was just an outline. And it was this dark outline that it just seemed like it was rushing towards me, like it was taking a couple steps, like it was trying to catch up to us. And it was all just when that, you know, that quick second the flash went off. So that's the best description I can actually give you, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mike, you've been up there numerous times. You had a talk with this guy beforehand. What did you say to him? Merle, take your mic off mute.
Yes, the mic. I guess I'll go buy one of them Yeti things. This one's getting tired, Dave.
As you should.
Yes. Now, what was I talking about on mute? Oh, yes. I did. I went and had a chat before because I knew that you were having issues with the barn. I went alone. I did a little bit of a walk around and basically chatted to your guy in there saying, dude, we're not here to disrespect. We're not here.
Mike just got cut off. Oh, there you are. You got cut off there for a couple seconds.
Classic Skype. But no, I was, just talking to him saying how what you're doing is benefiting the land there. You're benefiting the property, the history, the legacy, and to just not be so wound up and rude all the time. And that you're going to have people coming in just to have a conversation. And I felt that I got through to your guy. And c'est la vie. I think it's been okay ever since.
Well, I mean, the good part about it is the talk of demons in my town seems to be winding down. So finally that's starting to wind down, which is always good. Ross, when you go into a new location, like you are, I mean, when we did the daytime tour of Barkerville, we weren't really investigating. It was more touring around. But when you go into a new location like that is so untapped, how do you process the idea of doing the setup? Because watching you and David, you guys were always thinking, you know, camera angles, what can we get here? Take us to, tell us the stories. Why is learning the history so important for setting up the potential camera angles and the investigative techniques?
Well, you're right. You know, we have to learn as much as we can. It's all about interviewing the witnesses, to kind of get an idea of what's going to how best are you going to be able to serve your time in trying to capture the phenomena you need to support these encounters. So, when we're hearing the stories, because we have to realize, unfortunately, Barkerville is not a hop, skip, and a jump for us. It's an event that we have to kind of plan, way in advance. And when you got that, that one time to get out there, you want to do the best you can to capture as much phenomena as possible. So, of course, me and David were just, trying to eat up as much as we could, to find out what exactly is going on there. Because with my philosophy when it comes to, doing the paranormal investigations is you really do have to simplify everything. It's going to best channel the phenomena that you're trying to capture. So that's why when you're talking to people, it's like, okay, what really is the hot spots? What's really going on here? So for me, it was all just again, and that's again one of the things that we talked about earlier is you're not getting overloaded with so much crap. You're actually hearing the root to a lot of this phenomena. So it was just trying to get all that raw information, just to plan out your investigation when you come out to get that opportunity.
Is it exciting though when you are in that new location, because you really don't know what you're going to expect? Like if you go to Gettysburg or Tombstone or Waverly Hills, you already have an idea. The stories are all over the internet. But when you go into an area like Barkerville and you see the possibility and you get the stories firsthand, not from internet, but from one of the curators of the museum, I mean, is that like gold today? No pun intended to Barkerville being a gold rush town, but is that like gold today in the paranormal field?
It is. Like I said, it's new blood. It's a new opportunity to try and get down to the nitty-gritty of what seems to be happening in this location, because it hasn't had the opportunity to be sensationalized. Not that many people have been out there, and not that many, I hate to say it, bad groups have had the opportunity to taint it as well. So when you have that opportunity to just collect the raw data, it just makes it all so much better and exciting.
Mike, where are you
agree.
slithering? Where are you slithering, Mike?
I'm always slithering and lurking about. You know me, Dave.
Your turn.
Barkerville, we can talk about examples like how you were saying all the different diluted stories. Barkerville, I have 3 sources of stories of who I've only talked to, and that's how I'm going to keep it, because those are the people that have actually lived up there, grown old up there, and experienced the stories. I know one of the buildings there, the St. George Hotel, you can sleep there now. And when we were there, they had a record book of everyone's encounters in the room up there, because in the room too. And that's how I like it. I don't want to hear all of the other stories. I just want to hear locals and first encounter people.
Yeah, I would agree. Ross, I want you to take us on your journey here, because ever since the Caribou Paracon, when you were up here, you have literally been traveling all over the United States. I mean, you have more air miles than the average pilot these days in regards to paranormal investigation. Take us through your last 6 weeks, man. You've been everywhere.
Well, I have to say that after your event, I basically went right into my lecture tour. So I, lecture at a lot of the colleges and universities throughout Washington and the United States. So, yeah, I was all over the place doing some investigations. Plus, I had the opportunity to investigate a couple locations that have been on my list to do. One of those was Brushy Mountain Prison, which was pretty cool. That is out in Tennessee. And that actually had some pretty interesting history, from being a prison that was very violent. In fact, it was nicknamed the end of the line because you couldn't go anywhere after you've been in prison there. It was the worst place you could actually go. And there was lots of stories of, the fights between the KKK and the, African Americans there. Brutal, bloody fights that would take place there. So there was all that violence, again, is a lot of a very good trigger for some of the phenomena that you could experience there. So I was actually doing some interesting experiments for a project that I'm working on that I can't go into too much detail right now. But that was a cool experience. Got to do that, and then I also got to do a dam. I'm trying to remember the name of the dam. I apologize. But anyways, there was this really cool old dam that I also took the team to, and there was some interesting experiences there as well. It's one of those places where they claim that a few people have died. There's a woman that was actually, they claimed a young girl was murdered there. So again, I don't know how much of this has been sensationalized because you have so many different groups coming in and investigating so many different psychics and mediums with their own claims. But we did have some pretty interesting phenomena. In fact, I think it was Ghost Adventures has actually investigated this place as well. And so I do recall one moment where we were actually alone in the tunnels, and you can actually hear somebody walking in these tunnels when you know that there's just the three of us, and yet we're looking at each other and we're hearing somebody walking up towards us. And you shine the flashlight in it down the hall and it completely stops. So that's a pretty, spooky experience, I have to say.
But, I gotta ask about Brushy Mountain, man, because I'm addicted. In my spare time, I don't watch television. I'll go onto YouTube and watch a lot of documentaries, and I like the maximum security prisons. And Brushy Mountain, I remember, that was just open up until a few years ago, and I remember watching, one of these penitentiary shows about death row on Brushy Mountain. That's a freaky place with those rock walls.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a pretty intense place. Again, I can't go into too much details as to, what experiments I was running there because I am working on a big project. So it's kind of hush-hush for right now. But I do have to say that, one of my subjects that I was using for the experiments, a young man in his, 20s was actually attacked. We put him alone in D block, and he was so terrified that he ran out of that room screaming. And so, yeah, that's pretty intense. And there was a couple of places in that prison that I'd have to admit I would not want to be alone. I'll definitely go and investigate, but not by myself.
I want to ask you something that you mentioned earlier in regards to there's no rule book in this. Ross, you, David, and very few others in North America are considered, and I'll use this term because I know you won't because you're a modest guy, are considered pretty much like A-listers of the paranormal community. All right, people know who you are. You get the calls for the shows. You're there to do it right. I'd include John Tenney, who's a regular on this group or on this show as well, into that group. And people respect you for what you do. Why haven't a number of you kind of sat down together and say, hey, nobody's doing this. Nobody's following anything. Why don't we at least get the ball rolling on some sort of parameters from the best ghost hunters in North America and get this thing going in regards to a rule book or regulations?
We are trying. Me and David Weatherly have, sat down and talked about it, and he's actually started to get the ball rolling, with his team, the SOS, Society of the Supernatural. He's trying to bring in a lot of these, big names into his team so that at least we all have one team to work with. So there is some attempt to try and do this, but unfortunately, you also have to consider the fact that there's way too many egos out there. So, people that have made a name for themselves kind of want to, hold on to their cherry on the top of the mountain and don't want, anybody else to share their space with them. And it's sad, but then there's those people that have those claims that, probably aren't the best to be learning from in the first place. So, we are trying to bring in the names that we feel have done positive work in this field. And it's a slow process, but we are working on it, and we are trying, by doing these lectures and writing books and stuff like that, we are trying to at least develop some sort of structure, and hopefully people that are following our work will learn from us as well and carry that on to other people as well. So you kind of have to slowly work yourselves to the front of the train before everybody starts to follow you. So, we're trying.
I'm going to use Uncle Dale's comment in the chat room, and I don't mean this, Dale or Ross, to be derogatory in any way, but he says, self-regulated industries, give it up. There's a lot of people out there who say, we don't need this. We have enough rules, regulations in life. Why do we need this in ghost hunting now, too? But on the flip side, I'm looking at this, and I brought this point up about a year and a half ago. There is an American Cornhole Association that has rules and regulations. Cornhole, of all games. Why is there not one in something that is more popular, like paranormal? Why do we seem to back off on it when it is so obviously needed some sort of rules and guidelines because it's reckless out there?
Because the kitchen is made up of all chefs, primarily a lot of the time. But what we do, because they're... Oh my God, really?
Yeah, you cut out again, Merle.
Keep breaking up.
My microphone's tired, Dave. I'm going to go get one on payday.
You do that. You do that. But go ahead, Ross.
What I was going to say is, the problem is this field is so diverse. You've got a lot of people that want to focus on the metaphysical elements of ghost hunting. Then you've got people that want to focus on mostly just the technical aspect of ghost hunting. But I find that, if you're going to be successful, you kind of have to be able to walk that gray line, right down the center of the road. And being that it is so diverse and so many different theories and ideas out there, that it really just does muddy up the water. And I've always told people that the best way to be successful in this field is to go with what you know and not with what you think you know. And that's the problem, is too many people think they know what's going on. And in all honesty, we don't. This is all still something that we're still exploring and trying to find out what causes a lot of this phenomena that we experience. And without any structures or standards, we're not advancing anywhere. We're just swimming around in circles in this, big hole of the paranormal. And like I said, it's without those structures and standards that we're going to be constantly questioning everybody's, evidence. When they think they've got the gold to the paranormal and say, here it is, I've, been talking to Abraham Lincoln, this is my conversation with him, this is proof that, you can talk to the dead. Well, how did you capture the phenomena? How do we know you're legit? Where's the credibility behind all this? And the fact is we don't work too hard or hard enough to maintain credibility. So it's a struggle.
We only got about 2 minutes left before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour, Ross. Would any type of rule book or regulation have to be certified so that, or legalized in any sort of way to try and get some sort of regulations across North America or the United States in this particular instance?
I think it would be nice. I think it would be nice if there was some sort of council, of people that we trust, that have worked hard for building credibility. I think if we could have those as some sort of judges when it comes to, some sort of, outline as to what we should be doing, I think that would be at least a start.
It would be interesting. I think you would have to prepare for the backlash as well.
And it's going to be like that with everything, But it's just like investigating, homicides. There is a standard that they have to follow to help, find the killer, and we should operate in kind of a similar way. We need to have this outline of what's going to help us to be more successful in this field.
What needs to be done, though? What areas do we need to focus on? Is it setting rules and guidelines in regards to the investigative technique or the way people approach locations? Like you said, there's the esoteric side as well. I mean, you have to break everything down into every facet. You're going to need almost like a group of about 50 to 100 people or of experts to do that, would you not?
And it very well could be. You got to start somewhere, but you do have to break it all down, and find out what is working in this community and what is not working. Because there is a lot of stuff that I can tell you that people still use today that is just crap in the field.
True that. Hold that thought, Ross. We're going to step out for a break here.
No problem.
Last half hour with Ross Allison, Mike Morin on Ghosts of the Great White North coming up after this. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Morin. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow night on the program, paranormal author Andrea Messich is going to talk us. We're talking ghosts. Maybe some Thanksgiving ghosts for you beautiful Americans down there who are going to enjoy a great holiday long weekend. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We welcome back everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, all of our archives are free on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/spacedoutradio. The only thing I ask for in return is hit that subscribe button. Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Psilunum. Psilunum is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as Bill sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot soon. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We're going to have a lot of new swag coming up there very, very shortly. Our website just got a makeover, so you're going to want to check that out. Tell me what you think. You can hit me up online with that. And, of course, our news section, click on the news tab for the SOR Newswire put together by Captain Shirk. Tonight we have Ghosts of the Great White North. We do this show with Mike Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada every third Wednesday of the month. And our special guest tonight from Spooked in Seattle and the Death Museum in the Emerald City, Ross Allison. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Always a pleasure.
Agreed. Microphone works now.
Well, that's good. That's good, Merle. We like hearing your beautiful voice on here. Merle, you had a couple of questions for Ross.
I did. I just want to know more about your museum. What got you into that and collecting the stuff that's in it?
Well, basically what had happened is Spooked in Seattle was actually really starting to become more and more popular every year. And so we had moved to, we were moving to different locations. And one of the spots that we were taking people on the tour had access to the Seattle Underground. So when that was connected to a restaurant, and so of course when the restaurant moved out, we kind of lost that spot, and it sat vacant for years. And I just finally decided to contact the owner of the building and said, hey, I would just like to know if there's anything I can work out so I can bring my tours back into this place, because it was a really active section of the underground. And to my surprise, they worked out a really good deal in giving us the full basement connected to that underground. So here I am with, 7,000 square feet of haunted location, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do with all this space? And I had my own little, morbid collection, and I decided to put that on display, and it just kind of grew from there. So within my museum, and we are the first death museum in the Northwest, we have collections of, vintage coffins from the 1800s. We have mourning attire. So we're talking, the Victorian mourning dresses, these all-black dresses that the ladies would wear. Mourning jewelry. So we have a lot of jewelry that is made out of people's hair, the deceased people. If you were not aware of this, they would actually remove their hair before they'd bury them and then braid their hair into jewelry. And people would wear that quite a bit. So I have a lot of Morin jewelry. I have actual tombstones. I have, and just so you know, we did not steal these tombstones from a graveyard. These were actually donated. A lot of these tombstones were the original placement markers before they finally, the ordered tombstone had come in to replace it. So what they'll do is remove these, simple concrete slabs that would have their name and date, and then once the new marker came in, they would pull those out of the ground and replace them with the newer tombstones. So I do not encourage people to steal tombstones from cemeteries or graveyards. But we do have some tombstones. We also have, I have a real human skeleton. That was a surprising purchase for me. This is actually a young man who died in the early 1900s. And then, of course, we have a collection of haunted objects as well. So we have a lot of haunted dolls, from Mr. Creepy to a doll that'll actually play music because it has a music box inside of it every so often. We have a doll that we call the suicide doll. This is a doll that actually fell off the shelf the day that the owner had died. Owner had died of old age, and she had this doll since she was a little kid. And the day she died, the doll basically threw itself off the shelf and shattered into pieces. And then, of course, we have other interesting pieces. We have we have a spiritual section, spiritualism, that goes into vintage Ouija boards, all kinds of fun stuff. So, yeah, that's my museum, basically, in a nutshell.
What is your oldest Ouija board? I'm absolutely fascinated with Ouija boards. I have it as my wallpaper on all of my computers.
I do. Oldest Ouija board I have is actually a 1890s board. It's called the Oracle board. So I do have one of those. And then I have, let's see, what else do I have? I'm trying to think. I have some old fortune-telling cards when they actually used to use playing cards, and they also dubbed as fortune-telling cards, so I have some of those. That's a little fun. But yeah, that's my oldest Ouija board, is that.
Robert Murch once told me in regards to Ouija boards that, and Mike, this is good info for you, that right now the most expensive and the hardest Ouija boards to find are the Canadian versions, especially the older ones, because a lot of them have the English and French on them, and if you can find them in the box, they're going for like around $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow! I had one.
Yeah,
you had
Sound
one,
system.
And then what did you do?
Did. I traded. It was creepy. That one. That was before I really got into it, but it's gone.
So I take it you didn't get your $1,000 worth, did you?
I did not. I got a sound system that wasn't very great.
Oh, no.
It happens.
Well, if you ever come across another one, let me know. I'd like to put it in the museum.
If I do, I'll buy it.
You know what? You come, and here's the beauty of living in a small town is you got a lot of people who've passed things down generation to generation. There's also a lot of little antique junk stores along the way. I don't know why, but there really is. I mean, you guys saw them when you were driving up in a little town called Clinton. And, I mean, that's where you find this stuff. It's probably buried deep, but it's like probably been there 20 years and nobody's even asked for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, those are some of the best places to hit. When I'm, traveling all over, I tend to hit a lot of these old antique stores, and I'm always looking for, stuff for the museum. And I find some of the best things, like the suicide doll, came from an antique store. One of these pictures that I have, there's this antique picture that I have that they kept having trouble with it staying on the wall every day. They'd come into the store and it'd be sitting on the floor, and it wouldn't be tipped over; it'd be leaning up against the wall. And it's just, one of the oddest things. They just felt it was just a haunted picture, and so they actually decided they're going to stop trying to hang it up on the wall because it just did not like being up on the wall. So, even Mr. Creepy, he came from an antique store. And his story is actually pretty interesting if you want me to tell that one.
Yeah, tell that one. That was a great story.
Yeah, so Mr. Creepy, he's actually a ventriloquist doll, and he was actually made in the 1960s by a retired ventriloquist artist. And he actually goes back to the vaudeville days. And in his retirement years, he would continue to make these dolls and perform from time to time. And so he actually made a ventriloquist doll in his likeness, and he made a female counterpart in his wife's likeness. Now, these dolls are a little more creepy because they use their real hair on these dolls. Now, unfortunately, the couple passed away. And after their passing, they sold these dolls in an estate sale. But they sold the dolls as a pair. So what happened is this woman who actually has an antique store, she purchased the dolls, and she puts them on display on a shelf behind the register. And they sat there for a good long time, no issues whatsoever. Well, unfortunately, they sold her building. So this means she's got to pack up and move. So she packs up the dolls separately, and she puts them into storage. And they sit there for a while until she finds her new location. And so now she has to go to the storage unit to restock her new store. And she comes across the male, counterpart, but she cannot find the female. But she goes ahead and takes him, and she puts him on display in a glass case behind the register. Now, as soon as she does this, she starts getting this eerie feeling that there's constantly somebody standing behind her, breathing down the back of her neck. She just constantly got the chills. And she said that there was days she'd come in and find that his head would be turned in another direction. His eyes would be looking in another direction. Now, what makes that really odd, and I've experienced this myself, is his eyes are spring-loaded. So what that means is, when you move his eyes on the trigger behind him, once you let go of the trigger, his eyes automatically spring back to the center. So you cannot keep them to stare left or right unless you're holding the trigger. But there are times when she would actually come into the store and his eyes would be looking left or right. She said some days she would actually, come in and find that the glass case would be wide open. And so she's the one that actually named him Mr. Creepy after having all these experiences with him. So she doesn't want to deal with him on a daily basis anymore. So she takes him and she puts him on a bottom shelf at the back of the store. Now she doesn't have to look at him. Well, when I, visit a lot of these antique stores, I always ask them, I said, do you have anything that's, kind of odd? And I kind of let them determine what they think is odd, because I like to hear their stories, because sometimes you learn something new every time. And, of course, she immediately tells me about Mr. Creepy. And I just loved him. I thought, oh, my God, this is great. He would be perfect at Spooked in Seattle. So at a very cheap price, she sold me Mr. Creepy, and I took him to Spooked in Seattle, and I put him on display in this big old antique case that we had at the time. And so this is one of those cases that you had to literally pull it away from the wall to get access to the doors behind it. So I put him on display in this case, shut the doors, locked them, pushed it back up against the wall. Now, it's a few days later, and I'm alone in the office when I hear this loud thud against glass. So immediately I thought something happened in the gift shop. So I go out and I start exploring the gift shop, and I can't find anything disturbed. So I'm starting to walk around, and I'm trying to figure out what could have made that noise. And I'm coming around the big tables that we have down there. And as I come around the tables, I'm now facing that glass case with all the dolls. and I noticed right away that his head is now turned and leaning up against the glass. So I quickly pull out my cell phone and I take a picture just so I can document this experience. Now, what's interesting is the photo. You know, let alone that his head is turned and up against the glass, but in the reflection of the glass, when you're looking at his face in the reflection, this doll, if you ever look him up online, and there's lots of pictures of him online, look up Mr. Creepy Spooked in Seattle, you can see that he's got these very cartoonish features, very round cheeks, very round eyes. But when you look at the reflection in the glass, he's got a more elongated face, very droopy eyes, more lifelike. And so I got to thinking, oh my God, you know, who is this? And I just believe it's that gentleman, you know, haunting the doll. And people have always asked me, well, why? You know, what's going on? And I think, you know, he's looking for the female counterpart because they had not been separated since the day they were created. So it has been my quest to try and bring these two together. But I have to say that, you know, in the short amount of time that we've had him, and I shouldn't say short amount, we've had him now for a few years now, but in the time that we have had him, he's moved his head a few times, he's moved his eyes, and like I said, his eyes are spring-loaded, so it's funny because when you go to open the case and you touch him to, you know, reset the eyes, as soon as you touch him, the spring triggers and those eyes go right back to the center. So it's almost startling, right, when you go to touch him because his eyes will change right away. So, yeah, there's been quite a few people that have actually experienced that themselves with him turning his head towards you. Yeah.
That is weird, man. And I got to say, I heard that presentation up here at the Caribou Paracon, and it still chills me every time I hear it. Every time I hear it. What do you think the chances of finding Mrs. Creepy are?
Well, hopefully I think it'll get better the more popular he becomes because, you know, he is handmade doll. He's a handmade doll. So when you see his features and the way that he is actually made, hopefully somebody will realize, wow, I have a female that's almost just like him. And hopefully, you know, again, as this story gets out there more, somebody will come forward and say, could this be, as we'll say, Mrs. Creepy? Hopefully. We'll find out.
I just posted a photo of Mr. Creepy on the thread on Facebook, and his eyes are so lifelike. And he's, well, Mr. Creepy.
Yeah.
Do you ever talk to him? Do you ever talk to him, Ross, and just say, hey, I'm looking, you know, try and calm his nerves?
Oh, yeah. You know, and I treat that with, you know, with every item that I have, you know, even with the locations I go investigate. It's all about having a level of respect. So, yeah, I you know, even with being at Spooked in Seattle, you know, it's one of those things when you leave for the night, you're constantly saying, you know, good night to the ghosts. And say hello when you come in the morning. So yeah, Mr. Creepy is a gentleman that I will constantly talk to and let him know that, yeah, we're hoping to find her, bring those two together.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Joe wants to know, in your opinion, what is the most haunted location in Seattle?
The most haunted location for me, I would have to say, is the Seattle Underground. Now, I say that because I've had more opportunities to investigate it, so I've walked away with a lot more evidence. You have to understand that, you know, I've been to some of the most haunted places in the world. You know, I got to walk through the Amityville house. But it's one of those situations where even if they claim to be the most haunted, you don't always have those experiences. Now, maybe I don't always have the experience because I'm not there long enough. So for me, having the opportunity, because I own a part of the Seattle Underground, I have more experiences. And I've been in enough different sections of the Seattle Underground, and each section I've captured some amazing phenomena, that we share on the tours, some amazing EVPs. So it's, I definitely have to say it's the Underground.
I got to get down there. Totally got to get down there.
You beat me. I was just going to say that I need to investigate there.
We need to plan a boys' trip, Michael. We need to plan a boys' trip. Definitely.
I agree.
And we got to get Ross up to the Pink Hotel right across the border.
Yep, 2-minute drive. We talked about it. I'll give him some dates. For sure.
Yeah. I'm going to come down for that, for sure. For sure I am. Gentlemen, we only got about 2.5 minutes left here on this show, and this one absolutely flew on by. And, Ross, I want to hit you up with one final question, going back to what we talked about, at the end of last hour in regards to this rule book campaign that you guys are going to try and put together. If people have suggestions or ideas of what they would like to see or hope that you don't put something in there, where can they get a hold of you guys to talk a little bit more seriously about this? Because I do believe there are a lot of people interested in this.
Well, that's good. And I really do hope that there are a lot of people that want to, get behind and put together this structure. Definitely, reach out to myself and David Weatherly, because, we're really trying to do that for us. But, you can always, find me online, through my ghost hunting team, ghost.org, or you can reach me through Spooked in Seattle, or just look me up on Facebook, Ross Allison Ghost Hunter. And that way, I would love to hear ideas, because that's the thing is, this is all ideas, and we really want to focus on the folks who have been doing it a lot longer and learn from their experiences. Because, I really hate to say, I hate to use the word professional or expert in the field, but I definitely like to focus on there are a lot of people out there that have experience in the field. They've been doing this a lot longer than, myself, or even, a lot longer than David Weatherly. And we go to those people and we want to learn from them and learn the shortcuts in this field, because it is a very long process, and you want to try and find out exactly what seems to be working and what's not. So I'm always, wanting to hear and work with other groups to find out what works for them and what doesn't work for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you so much for coming on, and really appreciate chatting with you again, my friend. Really do. And we'll talk to you on December 13th. December 13th is actually the next anytime. Merle, we're saying goodnight to you for another edition of Ghosts of Great White North. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up next, we have Olaf Phillips and the SOR Newswire. We'll be back with more right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions. Not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
We've rounded third. We are headed for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We get to the news section with Olaf Phillips from Paranoia Magazine. The news is always changing, and that's why we bring you the SOR News Wire every Monday through Friday night. Olaf Phillips from Paranoia Magazine, the math man, the myth. That's 2 nights in a row I've called you the math, Olaf. 2 nights in a row
I'm the
I've called
math.
you the math. You are the math, the myth, and the Team Stump legend, all rolled into one. Welcome back for the SOR Newswire. How was your day?
It was all right. How was yours?
I had a boring day today.
Yeah, me too.
I raked up tree bark in my carport because that's where I split wood. I finally got enough firewood, my friend. Finally got enough firewood to battle the elements of the good old Canadian winter coming up.
There you go.
I'm pretty happy about it. But nonetheless, down there, it is American Thanksgiving long weekend. Black Friday's coming up. Have you been doing your training?
Yeah, I'm opting out of Black Friday. No Black Friday here. I go to Sonora every year. They have a truck parade for Christmas on Black Friday. So we go to the truck parade. So I'll go up to Sonora.
Well, that's all right. You know what? I laugh every year because, from an outsider, me being an outsider up here in Canada, you look and everybody always talks, and you go through social media, everybody's talking about family and how good it is. And we got to get back to the traditions of family and friends and caring and love and getting back on the same page with each other. And it's not even 24 hours later, people are beating the hell out of each other on Black Friday. Like, the message just does not sink in. It is the greatest piece of irony for me that I see in the United States.
Oh, they do too. They really beat each other up, and they have fist fights.
I so look forward to social media on Black Friday. Usually around 3, 4, 5 o'clock Pacific, that's when the videos start rolling in of these brawls in Walmart and other major chain stores. It is beautiful. It is phenomenal. Right now there are people, at 2:40 a.m. Eastern time on the East Coast. I just had an orb go through the studio here. That was kind of cool. But, there are people right now working the punching bags. They're in their homemade octagon practicing their kicks to the ribs and kidneys. It's happening right now. And you got to be trained for this because you got to go in with an attitude that it is kill or be killed on Black Friday.
Well, they're going to get that there are 3 $25 TVs in the whole place, and they're going to get one.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. It's absolutely insane.
I only ever indulged in it once, and it was a long, long time ago, and I saw that my parents were over, and I saw that there was a ad for a $50 digital camera. And I wasn't in line or anything, and it was 11 in the morning or 10 in the morning, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they have any left, right? So my mom and I went down to Circuit City, which no longer exists, and they were obviously all gone because it's a loss leader, right? I was like, oh, darn, there's no, well, I used a different word, but there was no digital cameras left. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, are there any of these left? Oh, no, we sold out. I'm like, okay. And so I was picking through, trying to look behind to see if there was ones, there were a couple that had been put behind some other cameras and they forgot they were there. And I found this one that somebody, I think who worked there, obviously had wedged way in the back, between 2 shelves. And I got a digital camera for $30 or something.
Nice.
That was the only time I've ever done it. I abhor it.
I never done it. I just want to see it, man. Could you imagine hearing Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler calling Black Friday at the local Walmart? That would be fantastic.
Oh, it's a circus. Yeah.
Howard Cosell walking around with the microphone. What do you think of that? You know what I'm saying? It would be fantastic. Fantastic.
There's a mix-up on aisle 4.
Holy cow. And yet Americans complain about fights in hockey. Oh, it's so violent. Look at Black Friday. Look at Black Friday. Hockey. You have adult people ripping things out of children's hands. It is a beautiful masterpiece of insanity. I love it. I do. Oh, Joe Monk puts in the chat room, Vin Scully is the best play-by-play caller ever. Yes, Vin is good. Can you imagine him calling Black Friday? Or remember the reporter with the Hindenburg? Oh, the humanity. Oh, it would be perfect. Perfect. They open up the doors to Walmart and you got Michael Buffer in there. Let's get ready to rumble. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Yeah. I'm excited about it. I'm more pumped up than you are. How many people have tinfoil on under their gloves? That's what I want to know.
You're way more excited than anybody I know. Everybody I know avoids it like the plague.
Oh, I got to see this one day in my life. It's on my bucket list now. I want to see I want to see the Black Friday brawls at 5 a.m. when they open up the stores. I got to see this. It's going to be incredible.
It's absurd. I've seen videos. It's absurd.
Oh, it's beautiful. Just beautiful.
You're an anarchist.
Oh, I like a good brouhaha every now and again. I think it's great. Sure. Women pulling hair all over the place, wigs flying off, false teeth. I wonder how many people lose their false teeth on Black Friday. Oh, pumped up. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow night. We should actually get to the news. You got me all pumped up now.
Okay. All right. Well, since it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, I actually found an article on Ripley's, believe it or not, about one of the greatest myths of Thanksgiving debunked.
Let's do it.
You ready?
I am.
Turkey won't make you sleepy. Fall marks the magical time of the year, ushering in brightly hued leaves, cozy cardigans, and pumpkin spiced everything.
It signals the start of the holiday season and the mad consumer-based dash from Halloween to Christmas. Smack dab in the middle sits Thanksgiving, a weird feast of the senses that make communal overeating a patriotic duty. From the gravy to the mashed potatoes, the stuffing to the turkey, cranberry relish to pumpkin pie I made too today, we know that the holidays sacrosanct menu by heart. We are also well-versed with the special Thanksgiving paralysis that follows the meal, caused by none other than turkey's high tryptophan content, right? Wrong.
Right. Wrong.
What's wrong? What's the deal with tryptophan? On the surface, the turkey tryptophan myth sounds plausible. Heck, it almost appears to be backed by scientific evidence. Let's start there. An essential amino acid, tryptophan, plays a crucial role in human health. It helps build specific types of protein, and it's connected to the sleep process. In fact, the body utilizes tryptophan to process serotonin, and serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps human body regulate sleep patterns. So far, so good, right? What's more, turkey does contain tryptophan. But does that point to the smoking turkey? The answer is a resounding no. Here's the crux of the problem: the truth about tryptophan. Now it's time for the cold, hard truth about tryptophan. Turkey's not the only meat that contains tryptophan. It doesn't even contain remarkably high levels. In fact, all meat contains comparable amounts of this stuff, yet you don't hear anybody sitting around complaining about a steak coma or a chicken marsala coma, do you? What's more, if you look at the amount of tryptophan in a turkey, gram for gram, cheddar cheese actually contains more of it than turkey. Again, who complains about needing a mac and cheese nap? Although it would be nice if kids got that memo. So how the heck did turkey end up getting a bad rap? It all has to do with all the other things consumed and drunk in overabundance during the biggest meal of the year.
Of course.
So it's actually the quantity of crap that you're eating, not the tryptophan. So sorry, guys, no tryptophan coma.
We got time for one more, maybe two.
Okay, this just in from the Great North. Man uses airboat to run errands in the snow. An Alaska man was caught on video by a neighbor outsmarting the recent snowfall by going to the store in his airboat. The filmers said they were watching TV in their home in Cosbu when they heard a loud noise that sounded like a plane landing outside. The resident captured the video of the sound's true cause: a neighbor using an airboat to glide across the surface of the freshly fallen snow. He's heading to the store in his airboat, the filmer wrote. So, we saw an airboat being used to push a truck down the street, and now we've seen it used to go to the store.
Beautiful. Beautiful. More ways than one to use an airboat. That is very true. We got time for one more, my friend.
The curse of the goddess Pele. My life literally fell apart, he said. One minute he was an employed, law-abiding citizen, and the next he was sitting in a federal penitentiary. He couldn't figure out what happened. The FBI agents who questioned said they never arrest people for what he did. They told him, "You must have really upset someone." He had. Timothy Murray of Florida had gone to Hawaii to accept a new job. When the job fell through, he took a trip to Hawaii, the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island. Like thousands before him, Mr. Murray was captivated by the black sand beaches and did what many other tourists often do, take some of that beautiful sand home as a souvenir. Over the next 3 years, Mr. Murray's life began to unravel. His beloved pet died. He and his fiancée broke up. He began to drink too much, and finally, the FBI agents who said they had been tracking him from Hawaii arrested him in a computer copyright infringement case. Mr. Murray blames Pele, the goddess of volcano and fire, who is renowned for her violent temper. Legend has it that her home, Mount Kilauea, is one of the Earth's most active volcanoes. Pele considers volcanic rocks, black sand, and pumice to be her children and casts the weight of her wrath on those who remove them from the island.
Wow. I don't think I'm messing with that volcano.
Each year, postmasters at the Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park Station and other local post office receive thousands of pounds of mail, often addressed to Queen Pele. It comes from people all over the world who write that they've had bad luck or calamity since returning home with their Hawaiian treasures and now want to return the offending items. They often ask for forgiveness and pray that once they send the items back to Pele, she will lift her curse so they can have their lives back. So if you go to Hawaii, don't take the sand.
Notice it's a Florida man who did it. Florida man. Nice tie in there.
Yeah.
Let's get to the thought of the day, shall we?
Let's do it.
Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we post a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and then what we do there is read your responses on the air. So today's Thought of the Day is as followed. What is a paranormal experience you would want to have? Nice and simple. For the holidays. Got some good responses here. Matthew says, it's not one experience in particular, but I'd want to have any experience just so I could write it down in detailed notes and make observations. I want to be able to say in confidence, I wasn't drunk or high. I know what I saw. Good for him. Caden, there you go. I want to visibly see a spirit and have a conversation like the two living people would. That would be awesome. Joe?
That would.
I'm willing to dedicate 1 year of my life in an in-depth study to prove the theory that hanging out with Jessica Alba prevents aliens from abducting you at night. He has a fetish.
That's a sacrifice for science right there.
I would like to see that study. Coral, I would like to have an off-worlder encounter with a non-threatening race. I'd be scared, though, so I don't know if my heart could take it. However, living where I do in the West Kootenays of British Columbia, it is more likely I'd have a Bigfoot experience. Natasha, she wants to see a clear-cut UFO sighting. Kevin, I want to get down and freaky with a group of Nordics, and what the heck? Throw in a few sexy blue avians into the mix. Wow. I'm coming to that party.
All right.
I am so joining that party. Trixie, the one paranormal experience that has always eluded me is a Sasquatch encounter. Well, as far as I know anyway, Sasquatch is the one experience that has a very tangible idea for our little planet. Gail, oh, for Pete's sake, as she angry grannies us. I don't want any paranormal experiences. I like plain, normal, and wish to whatever it is playing hide and seek with my stuff would knock it off, and little ETs would find someone else to check on. Get off my lawn! Just so you know, Gail's walls are beige in color. And the furniture has plastic on it. I'm pretty sure. Len, Super Len, I want to be abducted by a beautiful female space alien with 3 boobs. I'm in. I'm not even a boob guy. Patricia, I had another paranormal experience, a lucid dream. I drove off a high cliff with arms outstretched and flew fast, landing with my hands and then head and body resembling the child pose in yoga. Cool. Do you want to dap it again? Yes. Vivian, the Vivster. I want to have an out-of-body experience and travel around the universe because I'm extremely curious about other forms of extraterrestrial life, maybe even chat with my guardian spirits. Oh, God, am I curious. Oh, she's grinding her teeth at that one. Amy B. on Twitter. Picture this. It's a warm nighttime, full moon, on a beach alone, a nice fire going. Oh, she's setting the mood. A few bottles of red wines. Tons of my favorite cigarettes. Then Indrid Cold, Ardo, and Hassan show up. I have no idea who they are. I may be way too Canadian for that. Way too Canadian for that. Who are they? Or who are they? Help me out, Olaf. Who's Ingrid?
Injured Cold is tied to the Mothman thing. He made phone calls to John Keel.
Oh, that would be cool. Gabriel, I want a time travel or teleport a long distance away. And that's where we're going to end it. Time travel. That's a good one. Olaf, where can people find Paranoia Magazine?
ParanoiaMagazine.com, Paranoia Magazine on Facebook, Paranoia Mag on Twitter, and Paranoia Mags on Instagram.
Exactly. And don't forget, you can find the SOR Newswire on our website, new look website, spacedoutradio.com. I want to say a big thank you to Mike Morin and Ross Allison for coming on in for Ghosts of the Great White North. It's great to have them on. Great friends of this show as well. They do us some justice there. Tomorrow night on the show, we have Andrea Message, Paranormal Ronin, coming in to talk all things ghostly, ghouly, and whatever haunts American Thanksgiving. 9:06 Pacific Time, 12:06 a.m. Eastern for 3 hours of fun at spacedoutradio.com. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. It was a good hump day. Thank you, everybody on Twitter at hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Everybody on the Veterans Club, you know who you are. Spreaker, Rev Radio. And a special warm wishes from us Canadians to all of our American listeners and friends. Happy Thanksgiving. Keep the boxing up. I want to hear some good brawling stories from Black Friday, everyone. Make sure you get it on video. Because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.